Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
Hey, welcome to Into the Twilight.
Ew.
The podcast where I hate to be right about things, Cody.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, funk yeah, unions.
Right.
We love
Big
them
fan.
here.
Yeah.
There's one thing that you all have learned over the past 6 years. We are pro-unions.
Right.
I didn't want to be right about the writer's strike, though, is the thing.
Yeah. Funny how that works.
Funny how this show has become us being oracles.
Right. The funniest thing about that, obviously, none of this is funny, and like
No,
solidarity, and like they're gonna be out there for a very long time, and it fucking sucks. However, there's so many like people and like publications that just have come out of the woodwork again. And being like, look at all these things you're gonna lose because of this. And it's like, yeah, dude, fuck yeah. Whatever. Or all these people are like, oh, well, this show's just gonna continue because like it's finished writing and they're done. And it's like, oh, word? Oh, word. Like, you don't want any other insight on set? Okay, that sounds good for television. That's normally how it's done.
Yeah,
Cool.
First of all, these publications, I'm going to err on the side of it not being the individual journalists.
Right,
Because
yes, for
that's
sure.
not what we do here. And I'm going to imagine that it's the big bads, right? Being like, I am the editor. You have to write it this way. But like, don't try to turn me against the people who are out there striking for just the minimal.
The bare minimum. Yeah.
The absolute, like, bare minimum of respect. Don't try to turn me against them. Fuck you.
Right. And
So,
also,
no.
just a good word of advice, probably better in hindsight, but don't, writers make really good signs, right? Like,
They do make really good signs.
they're really good at strike signs and picket signs. And if you don't want to be clowned for really an extended period of time consistently by hundreds and thousands of very angry and now very free writers, probably don't do that. Just
The thing
pay it.
that and again, none of this is funny, none of this is good.
Right.
However, very similarly to a lot of folks who have their ADHD medication on back order right now, they have
Right.
a lot of chaos and a lot of time to spare. And I would imagine that some of these writers it's not a Venn diagram, it's a circle, right?
Right.
Of these people. So not only are they very creative and witty and they know how to hit you where it hurts because they do that for a living, so they're going to come up with fantastic signs to just rip you apart, but they're also going to protest in a way that is incredibly inconvenient. Like, I've seen folks showing up like at sunrise at these places to like make people honking and like just causing like malicious ways that are, again, not impactful to other people, but solely for the people that they are protesting with. And it's just like, yes, I love this. How are you?
I am good. I'm loving the just very angry energy of all of this. It fuels me, and I feel it. I wanted to bring a book to the space. Uh-oh. I can read.
Jealous. Someone's trying to get their free Pizza Hut personal pizza this year.
Right, exactly. I'm getting all of my little box tops and stuff.
Yep.
I'm doing really good. I'm gonna get it this year, I swear.
I believe in you.
So for the last few weeks, right, we have been talking about the Hunger Games, and I'm not bringing the Hunger Games to the space.
Damn
It's
it.
not my happy thing. Because at this point I refuse. I feel like out of spite, I just don't want to engage with it.
You know what?
And
That's
fall
valid.
into the reclamation of it, which is, that's my truth, right? However, I do like the itch of that type of media, and I am craving that. And I realized that a book had just come out this month that is similar energy, but also written for adults and set in the prison industrial complex.
Good. Light beach read. Yeah.
Light beach read. And I want to bring this to the space. It's called Chain Gang All-Stars.
Okay. I haven't heard of this.
Yeah. Nana Kwame Ajebrenya, I believe is his name. It is a very gorgeous cover, very sexy.
Nice.
And it's essentially, the conceit here is, what if Hunger Games, right? The idea of fighting competitively for the idea of freedom or something. But within the context of prison, and a very popularized, glamorized, like, wrestling kind of show, gladiator, like, production situation.
Okay.
And it fucking rips, dude. Fucking rips.
Nice.
I've not finished this yet. I'm still, like, early stages into it, but it's already very... If there are parts of Hunger Games where, like, I wish, like, an adult wrote this, or, like, this was written for an adult audience that, like, had maybe a gore aspect to things, or, like, at least very brutal fights, situations, intrigue, drama. This is that. This is this.
Okay.
And it's very slay. It's very, like, anti-slay, because it's, like, a bad concept.
Right,
That we are not very far from as a society, right? But also, like, very slay that it is very good and compelling and very wacky and gives me that itch without, well, I can feel better about myself and not have to not reread all of the Hunger Games to feel that void.
Sure.
And so I'm liking it. I'm having a very good time. I would highly recommend, if you are feeling that sort of itch similarly, and maybe just want, like, a different spin.
Nice. Okay. I love that. It reminds me of a very specific plot line from Charmed.
Oh,
And
yes. Yeah.
do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes,
when
yes.
Leo
Oh my
went
God.
to Valhalla.
Oh my God.
That
I
was,
haven't
like,
thought about
immediately
that
when
in
I went to
forever.
problems
Yeah.
with, like, watching TNT every morning before school growing up.
Right.
But that was more like, I mean, Valhalla was supposed to be, like, very happy, right?
Oh my God.
And this is very
I know.
much, like, not that.
I forgot that they named that episode Valhalla of the Dolls. That is so funny. That's so funny. Charmed was a great show.
I fucking love that show so much.
Good show.
Good show. Influenced so much of my fashion and music sense.
Yeah, totally.
God damn. Okay, anyways, that's immediately what I thought of when you were describing this, which is why I'm so intrigued by this concept, and now I want to read this book.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I would say it is. There are similar beats. There's similar vibes. going on
Nice.
here.
Okay, cool.
How are you doing, my friend?
I am here. I'm alive. I'm
Amazing.
I am surviving. It's so funny that you mentioned not reading The Hunger Games right now, like rereading it out of spite, because that is very similar to the happy thing that I'm bringing to the space this week.
God, that's so true. Yeah, I love that. Kindred spirits.
So I've mentioned this before, that and it also ties into the fact that I'm I'm watching past shows that have been on for a really long time, because
Sure.
I want to support folks. So I, for up until now, I guess, have not watched Modern Family. And did so out of spite. Specifically, because of two people. One was a friend that I grew up with, who watched the show, and her fucking dad, who I feel like when the show came on in high school, I feel like they both would regularly tell me, oh my God, you remind me so much of this character on Modern Family. Her name is Alex. And I felt so pissed off by it and turned off, because I was like, that's so reductive of you. Just because her name is Alex, you say that she has glasses and dark hair.
Right.
Like, fuck you. That's so just like, don't try to put me in a box. So anyway, I think about a week and a half ago, I finished Schitt's Creek, and I was like, well, fuck, I need something else to just put on in the background. And I was like, damn it, Modern Family is on Hulu.
Yeah, it was calling
I'm
you.
just going to put on the first episode, and if I don't like it, then fucking fine.
Right.
So I'm at the end of season 5.
Yeah, that'll
It's
happen.
unfortunately, like, good.
It's like, it is so shameful to admit, right? Because I had a very similar thing earlier this year, late last year. And I was like, there's no way this is actually good, right? Because I
Right.
sat through so many Emmys where I was like, no shot. This
Right.
is going to win every year and rob me of all of my favorite shows.
Right,
on
it
this
just
show
pissed
that
me off. Like, for
made
10
me
years,
mad.
are you kidding?
I was upset about it, right? And so I was like, no way. That grudge was anything but warranted for my brain. And it turns out it's actually very, very good, which sucks.
It
to
sucks
hear.
so bad. So I'm at the end of season 5 right now. My current complaints are that they make LA seem very drivable.
Sure.
Because these 3 families see each other like every day, all the time.
Constantly. Yeah.
They're always with each other, and that seems impossible. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, the comparisons to Alex are warranted, and that pisses me off.
Yeah.
So that's also annoying. I knew nothing about the show going into it. I very much appreciate it. Major jump scare for youngest child from Righteous Gemstones coming in as the nanny, which
Oh, yes. He's amazing.
I was like, what the fuck are you doing here?
His arc is so good. I love him.
Anyways, I still have like a little bit more than half of the show left, which makes me very excited. But we'll keep y'all updated on my pattern recognition there. We have some very important fashion news this week.
We do have important fashion news.
As always, at the beginning of May, we got Met Time.
Yeah.
I was expecting K-Stu to be there. Was shocked to see Robert. Where would you like to start first?
God, I feel like we can start with Robert just because K2 might take us a bit to.
I agree.
We need a minute to to calm down. He's wearing a suit, right? Like, so there's not like a lot. He's got very chic accessories.
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah, I
big
would
fan
say
of.
notably top and bottom, but not top
Right.
to bottom.
Right, yes. Yes. The shoes, great. They're like,
Yes.
what if Crocs giblets were like fancy and like crystals, you know, like very
Right.
very chic. And then a nice not bolo tie.
Like
but,
sheriff
yeah.
little badge.
Right. Like
as a
sun
brooch.
badge as a
Right.
brooch, right. And Suki looks
To be
gorgeous.
honest with you, I know
Yeah.
I know that this is logically not accurate. I feel like this is the first time I've ever seen Suki.
Ever?
I know that can't be true because I feel like we've looked at photos of the two of them before, but
Yeah.
I feel like this is the first. When I saw these photos, I was like, have I ever seen her face?
Yeah,
Ever?
that's also categorically not true because we every so often we see that picture of Robert where his hair is like really messed up and he's wearing like a weird turtleneck and she is very famously in that image. Hold on, I'm dropping this image.
I know that it's not true. I know
Yeah.
that it's not true, but it felt true to me.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because the fact that I was just taken by her like foresty floral nymphness.
Sure.
And you know what? You're right. Maybe it's because the fact that in that photo specifically, she looks like Emily in Paris.
That's fair. She does look very different with bangs. Also, famously, Suki Waterhouse is in Divergent, so
What the fuck?
I think she's only in Insurgent, so I don't know what she does.
I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like I've been talking about Suki Waterhouse for years, and I don't know her. I think that I've thought this whole time that it was Emily in Paris, and I don't... Are those different women?
They are different.
Who's Emily in Paris?
Yeah, I will say I totally get it because I too have confused Suki Waterhouse with another white woman. I think it was the girl from the White Lotus, the other season of the White Lotus.
Oh my god.
That I've on and off confused her with for a while. So I get it. But Suki is her own. She's her own woman.
She looks beautiful.
Yeah,
whoever this woman is.
Sorry to this woman. We could talk about her for 6 years.
Sorry to this woman on the fucking Colgate carpet. She's beautiful, though.
She's gorgeous.
She looks great. I wasn't expecting to see, like, her full-ass body, but she looks great.
Yeah.
It probably is cold.
Yeah.
It's probably cold out.
It was a good look. Yeah, so welcome to the pod, Suki Waterhouse, for the first time.
I hate having fucking Swiss cheese for brains. I know I've seen this woman before.
You have to have, of course.
I've talked about this woman, but looking at her, I don't, sorry to this woman.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Maybe it's the Facetune. I don't know.
Yeah.
She looks great, though. Congrats, Suki, on being
good
in
for her.
Daisy and the Six, which I didn't even know you were in, so. Good job.
Yeah.
Anyways, to more important things.
They're going to say unfortunate. I was like, what are you leading up to?
To more unfortunate things, there was the VIP of the night was the cockroach who died. So,
oh, God,
can
rip.
you play the ASPCA music?
In the arms of the angel, the cockroach, forever in our hearts, gone but not forgotten. I'm
going to be honest with you, I had really low expectations for Kristen.
Right.
We've been let down so many times by Chanel.
Right. We can only half enthusiastically do a Case 2 fashion corner so many times, right? Like, it's hard for us to.
Here's the thing. Kristen has great fashion sense.
Sure.
Chanel does not know how to dress Kristen Stewart.
Yeah.
We've been let down so many times. However, so my expectations were really low. However, somehow the stylist this time and the makeup artist talked beforehand. They communicated. Yeah. And it's fucking great.
Yeah, I am a big fan of this. Love this like strong eyebrow situation. Love this just very big suit. Too big. But in a way that's almost chic that I appreciate. We have a mullet action here.
Amen.
A very big tie that goes in 3 different directions. I don't know if there's a name for that. Don't at me. I'm not a menswear guy, okay?
I'm also not, I am notably not a fashion person.
Right.
Yeah. And also, more importantly, not a Karl Lagerfeld person.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Homeboy can rot in hell.
Right, just as a preamble, I guess, important disclosure, fuck that guy, right? Like, we do not endorse any of that.
Yeah, him and Miss Lizzie can rot in hell for all I'm concerned.
Yeah.
It's just a tea party of him, Miss Lizzie, and fucking Nixon down there.
Right, and while we're at it, also Coco, right? Like, very, like...
Jesus, yeah. Listen, that place is full to the brim. You know what I mean?
The list goes on. Yeah, for sure.
This fit though, like, listen, I was expecting Kristen because Chanel. So like, I know there are contracts, so I'm not surprised. Given that, this turned out with Chanel menswear to honor the theme. So
yeah, I'm a big fan of this. The only thing I hate here are the shoes. Why do they do that? I don't. They like
honestly, they make Kristen's feet look like the size of my feet, which is like a disservice to her.
Every other proportion is so exaggerated, and then you like go down and they're like these tiny little bird feet. It's Just like put her in those big red boots, right? Like do something.
Oh my
like,
God.
just like do something. Have like it just feels like it teeters off into nowhere. But everything else I'm a fan of. I'm having fun with this.
I would
for her.
love to see more of this makeup moving forward on Kristen, because it is, especially the natural face, and this is a joke, right? Because there's so much makeup on her base right now to make it look natural under these lights, but like a natural face, very strong brows, and this mullet is so important to me personally.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Thank you for your service. Oh God, I forgot that you added this photo of Robert. Okay, so last bit of news. Please grab your tiny violins, friends.
Oh, God.
We do have a sad update about Vampire Academy Season 2. When we had last shared, we were like, oh yeah, cancellations, rip. So, Marguerite, the showrunner, apparently has been like trying to shop a second season around.
Yeah.
Good, great.
Right.
But provided an update that Marguerite does not have good news. Saying in a video, essentially like, thanks for all your love, thanks for the support, but, quote, I don't see any avenue forward. And that it wasn't a lack for trying.
Right.
And that they pitched their hearts out, took it as far as they could, but they're apparently, it has not, the shopping around has not been successful.
It's so fucked up.
It's so...
And also,
so
we
sad.
predicted this, too, of, like, the fact that the Twilight reboot show got announced. It sucked out all the fucking air out of any of that, even though that show is, like, in pre-development, right? Like, it's right. A whisper of a thought of a thing that is going to exist, right? Vampire Academy has something that exists already. Like, it's like, ready to go. Like, it has places to go. But... Steph fucking swung on in there. It's like, hey, besties, bet you thought you saw the last of me? Fuck you.
I feel like it was definitely part of her contract with Peacock of like we can be the only vampire show.
Right. On gotta Peacock. Ice him out. Ugh. So fucked up.
I have hope. And this is a very small, this is just a small flame of hope. That if, and I'm going to still call it HBO Max until my fucking birthday, because fuck them, that HBO pulls through. Yeah. Because that's the only place that I can see like a 1-to-1 of what we had before. Yeah. But my hopes are very low at this point.
Ugh, I hate it here.
It makes me sad because I want it very badly, but that's the update that we have. Mm-hmm. In better news, we do have a listener email. Could you share this email with the class?
Absolutely. This is from Ree. With the subject, your podcast is basically my home now. Cute. Okay. Hello, I'm Ree, 21, from the St. Louis area. I've been binging your podcast for a couple of months now, and sometimes I have to stop what I'm doing at work because I'm trying not to disturb my coworkers with my own laughter. I first discovered your pod maybe a year or two ago. I don't know how long it's been, honestly. I saw a TikTok that was a clip of you talking about how fascinated Edward was watching Bella eat Cheerios when I realized it was a podcast, but one of my favorite things, I instantly ran to Spotify to save it for later. I didn't end up listening until recently when I was going through my library on Spotify. I'm currently only on episode 116, and I plan on becoming a patron when funds allow. I just wanted to let you both know how much I love this pod and wish I could have listened sooner. Twilight has been one of my absolute favorite things since I started reading the series in the 4th grade and subsequently watching the movies. In the 5th grade, I gave everyone Twilight Valentines on Valentine's Day. I spent time giving each of my classmates a card with a character that reminded me of them. They all gave them back to me. No!
Oh my god!
I had no idea where that sentence was ending, and I should not have chose that tone. Oh my god. that took me out. Okay.
Reed, tell me who they are. I'll fight them.
Yeah, for real. I love all the Glee references as well. A guilty pleasure of mine since 8th grade. Parentheses, fuck Will Schuester.
Fuck that.
I would love if you watched and discussed, but that would have to be a whole pod.
No. Oh, don't tell me that.
No, well, yeah. I took a break from your pod to watch and read 50 Shades so I would know what you were talking about on your commentary. It was hilarious and spot on. Oh, buddy, that's why we do this. You don't have to. Oh, no. I actually read the original fan fiction, Master of the Universe, before reading the published version. Trust me, it's worse when you picture Christian Anna as Bella and Edward. That's all I really want to share with you. I want to express that Into the Twilight is the highlight of my day, and I feel like I found my people, despite never meeting or speaking with you. It makes me feel a little less alone in the hellhole we live in. Smiley face.
The backwards smiley face.
And the backwards smiley face is so real. First of all, why are you doing more work for this than you need? It's just like, you respectfully...
You are doing like a fucking work-study program right now or something.
Yeah, it's like you're majoring in this podcast. I appreciate it.
Yeah, if you need to send over like a fucking PDF for us to sign off on your hours or something, just like let us know.
You don't need to do the additional materials that even we don't do. Like, that seems pretty fucked.
For real.
Oh, man.
God damn. Okay, so... Here's what I remember from last week is Miss Rose tried to run away from Dimitri and was like, haha, catch me if you can. And she became a pilot and started traveling around the world. And then Dimitri became Tom Hanks. And it was weird for a moment.
Yeah, it was kind of like a weird sidebar, but it felt natural within the story.
Yeah,
right?
And it was kind of beautiful for the short moment that it was. And then Lissa was lying for a while to Hans, had to slip that juicy tea that Dimitri and Rose loved each other. And then Sydney was like, what the fuck are you two doing? We have to go to a different town now. Actually, we're in a campground. Here's all these vampires. Trust me, or whatever.
Yeah, it's gonna be actually really chill. The vibes are really good.
Don't fucking backtalk to me, because I'm your mom now.
Right.
And that's what you missed on Glee.
That is what you missed on Glee. So true.
Tell me about chapter 9.
The vibes here are weird, right? Like, Rose and Dimitri have no idea what they're stepping into. They are surrounded by what seems like mostly Moroi at this point.
Yeah, Frero gave us a little bit of a jump scare, and then she was like, haha.
Right. It's like, it's not Strigoi, JK. It's not gonna, no one's gonna die. We all good. It's fine. No confrontation. But it's still like an alarming number of people that they don't know, and they're all just like staring at them like, hey, this is our home. And so Rose is like, what's going on? And also realizes that like the people closest to them are Moroi, but they're also Hampier around, kind of circling around them.
And one of the Morois is channeling Christian's fire powers and is like holding a ball of flame.
Oh, right, yes. Right.
So they're like, what's up, motherfucker? This
chapter starts, there's like this huge like beam of light or whatever, and everyone's like, what the fuck is this? And this dude is just wielding this beautiful large sun orb, flame orb of light.
Which seems dangerous because they are surrounded by a lot of trees. So like, can you be respectful of your environment?
Yeah, like no shade to Smokey the Bear, but I feel like that's that's like a lot of dangerous
Smokey the Bear comes barreling through and is like, no, stop. Respect the environment.
Like, how dare you? Right. This is my one thing I ask
so these 10 people look
chill?
Real intimidating, right? Naturally, Rose is like, I mean, Dimitri and I can take them, but like, goddamn, Sydney. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And Sydney's like, guys, please be cool. Like, I'm trying to do this for you. Like, whatever.
Right.
And this dude is like, so you're here to, like, join us? And Sydney's like, we just need shelter. Like, they're being chased by the Tainted. Whoa.
Oh, yeah, because the old guy from the new group, right? He comes up
right
and looks at Sydney, and he has the light, sees Sydney's alchemist tattoo, and relaxes a little bit.
Right, yeah, because it's like, okay, we're chill. We're on
Yeah.
similar vibes here.
And Sydney's like, listen, we need a place to live for, like, a day or two. Get our bearings.
Yeah.
And then...
Like, we're not trying to inconvenience you.
And
also, then, hot goss, the Tainted Queen is dead.
Yeah, and then Ferrero just drops this new language.
Right,
of,
this terminology.
Yeah. Says tainted, capital T, tainted.
Yeah, capital. Yeah.
Writes these fucking books for 12-year-olds. Has the audacity to write tainted so many times.
It's so funny. And Sydney's like, hey, they think that she killed her, so pretty cool, huh? And of course Rose wants to pipe up, but she's like, I don't know what the dynamic is here. I'm just gonna let Sydney do her thing, I guess. Because it seems like maybe they don't like the queen, and also Tainted seems bad in context.
Yeah, she's
from
like,
what I'm
God
picking up
damn,
here.
Sydney, okay. Looks at her clothes and is like, all right, I'm trying my best.
Yeah, trying to blow up my spot. Okay, fuck.
And Rose is trying her best to keep quiet and just, like, feel out what's going on here. Finding out, like, what's going on. The new people are talking about when a new royal will be named the monarch. And Rose is like, well, how else would they elect a new monarch other than having elections? One of the Hampiers nearby is like, in the true way that it used to be in a battle to the death. And it's like, ugh. Rose thinks this is a joke, and he doesn't laugh or say anything else. Right, and she's like, okay, fuck, that's not a joke. Okay.
Yeah, it's like, haha, good one, man. Never mind.
Not fucking joking. All right, great.
Cool. Noted.
So this place is like y'all ever play D&D? This place is just like a little NPC village.
Yes, literally. It's like we got these little tents, we got these shabby buildings, we got things going on.
They got
a lot of Appalachian situations.
Literally. Okay, here's my question for you. You know, like, Furrow has been very overt in all of these books about trying to communicate groups of people and how they are a commentary on our society, right? Like, we live in a society.
Right, TM.
This, at first when I was reading about this group here, of like, because eventually what Sydney says, right? Like, these are the keepers, right? I couldn't tell if initially Furrow was trying to say, like, or like draw a parallel to indigenous people here in North America. But like, it didn't, because the fact that eventually in this chapter it comes out that Rose's society doesn't know about these people, that it's like secret. Even to like...
So it's not like the original or the founding.
So do you think that it's more of like... Do you think it's more of a parallel to like the Amish?
Right. What I was gathering from this was more like very strange, like fundamental religious stuff.
Okay, so like fucking LDS shit or something.
Yeah, right. Just in the way of not necessarily, right, like the fights to the death and stuff and that sort of tradition, right? But in the way of them, there's like a lot of conversations here, especially with Sydney, because Sydney has like this judgment of what we now know is like maybe the new order of things, rather in comparison to this like original / secret society situation, and like constantly calling it traditional, of them having like all of these relationships like between Maroi and Hampier, and also humans a lot more intensely
Right.
than how Rose is society and culture and like way of doing things is used to, right? Like outside of just like a feeder relationship, like there's different levels of like that kind of stuff, which felt like that to me.
That's true.
But
That makes
I don't
more
know.
sense.
It feels like a mix of a lot of different things, right? Like it feels like a hodgepodge of a lot of types of.
Because the thing that was like trying to get to my that couldn't compute at first was the fact that like even the like royal like high up Maroi didn't know, and so like the indigenous comparison didn't really make sense, and even the Amish didn't really make sense. But that makes sense of like I'm thinking like even under the banner of heaven, right? Like the fundamental. Like, this is how it's supposed to be kind of thing, right?
Exactly. Right. It seems less so of a tradition that actually existed, more so than a tradition that people were creating.
Gotcha. Yeah.
In spite of.
Because that was
right? Like a new fun, like a lore, right?
Because the initial comparisons didn't make sense to me, because I was like, for real wouldn't use the language that Sydney and Rose keep saying of things like primitive, and like they were really judgmental.
Yes,
but
correct.
That makes a lot more sense of like, oh, it's probably the like fundamental cult
like
shit.
An offshoot.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. That tracks a lot more. Because okay, now I can see it more in my head. It's not an NPC village. It's a fucking cult. Okay. Got it.
We have pivoted.
It's a cult. Got it. How did you feel about Sydney talking, like they alluded to this a little bit at the beginning of this chapter and then at the end too, of the alchemists coming to drop off supplies, not just to this group, but apparently there are other like communities of this type of cult too.
Right, yeah, which is, again, strange because there's not, like, any knowledge, it seems, outside of from an alchemist perspective.
Right.
So it's like, not only does this, like, society exist, or, like, way of living exist, but also there are many offshoots of them, like, that just exist around here, and there's, like, a network connecting them somehow.
So because they live, like, completely off the grid. For the most part, they mention like some of their community lives in the caves that are in this mountain, but Raymond, who was originally with that group of 10 that they just saw, and now we have a name for this dude, is like, you can come stay in my house.
Right, come on in.
Which is very generous. Like, it's a cabin, let's be honest. House is a very kind word for this. But apparently it's been like a few months since the alchemists have come by and dropped off like medicine for some of the humans, stuff like that they wouldn't have
delivered. Yeah.
Okay, this makes so much more sense now, because I was like trying to figure out why that interaction in the bedroom was so fucking weird, and now got it.
Yeah, it's so, very strange.
Yeah. And so they go into this cabin. There's no electricity. There's lots of lanterns. Rose, again, being very judgmental. She's like, I miss the motel.
Right. I love how she still thinks in her head in all caps. I think that's a very fun it's a continuation of the bit.
And she's still I think it's very telling how, like, absorbed and confused she is, because we don't even get her looking around at Dimitri until, like, almost the end of this chapter. She's very, like, what the fuck? But there are Maroi, there's Hampiers, and there are humans in this community, and she makes a note that there are humans who do have some bites on them, but they are not high. Like, they're looking around being like, what are y'all doing here?
Right? It's like, what's going on? And this girl, Sarah, bless her heart, human, is like tidying around the house, whatever, being like, this could be a nice place for y'all to crash. It's gonna be great. Don't worry about it. And Rose's like, oh, are you Raymond's housekeeper? And Sydney's like, shut up. What are you doing? What are you saying? And Sarah's like, oh, no, I'm his wife. Like, we're married. And Rose is like, what the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean?
Right.
His wife. You're a human. That doesn't... the math does not math there, in my understanding of the world.
And she goes...
How scandalous.
Rose is having this moment where everything that she knows about the world is, like, collapsing.
Right, yes.
Because she's like, listen, I'm going to be honest with y'all, the audience. I'm very liberal. Very few things shock me. But this is confusing. Because...
Right.
Listen, I have... And this is coming from Rose, right? Who is, like, had her consensually and non-consensually had her blood taken from her, right?
Right, yes.
As a Hampere. But is going through and being like, what I was taught and what I know is Roy having sex with Hamperes. Racy. Ooh, sexy. Roy having sex with a Hampere and drinking blood. Nasty, gross, bad, shameful, humiliating.
Right.
Roy having sex with a human with or without taking blood from them. Absolutely not. No.
Shut it down.
Break it.
Yeah, there needs to be like a flow chart of like the acceptability of every type of relationship.
Very much like Mean Girls, you would get pregnant and die. Like, that's not how it works. So she is completely blindsided at what's happening here. Especially when Raymond comes back and there are Hampere children. There's another Roy woman.
Yeah.
A Hampere who is like Rose's age.
Yeah.
And here's what I'll say. For it being a cult that's very, like, rooted in tradition, pretty, like, non-traditional name. Like, they're pretty, like, modern.
Right there, yeah. We got some not...
Phil? I wouldn't say that that's, like, biblical. Like...
Right. Or even vampiric, really.
Right, exactly.
Especially when you have people like Vasilissa. It's like, and there's Phil.
Like, okay, cool. Anyways.
Yeah.
Dimitri, I expect. Okay. It's like, oh, Sarah, yeah. Okay. Like, I mean, Sarah's biblical, but, like, okay.
Sure.
Sure.
Right.
Anyway.
We do get a Joshua, though, so.
We do get a Joshua, that is true. But, like, Molly?
Right.
Okay. Anyway, so Sarah's like, cool, so there's like 5 of us. We're gonna share the loft, so y'all can take one of the rooms. Don't worry about it. Also, there's gonna be a 6th person, Angeline, who we don't know yet.
Yeah, the ratio here does not feel like it makes sense given the layout of this building, but I mean, whatever.
Like, okay.
Sure.
They're also very suspicious of the stew, which is italicized.
Right, which, again, sure, this is a new place, everything could be poison, you don't know these people, right? Like, I get it, say stranger danger, but also, y'all haven't eaten properly since McDonald's, and that was, like, 48 hours ago, so maybe...
Right. Though, I'm gonna be honest with you, this bread and the bowl of butter sounded
It
amazing.
did sound really good. It sounded like it slapped. Yeah, they're like, no stew, italics. But if y'all got bread, let's go. And
just
it did
come on over with that loaf
good.
And that bowl of butter, and I'm gonna be great. Thank you. Seemingly also, like, no water. Just dry mouth, bread, butter.
That's all you need.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
So, great. We get a little bit of a history lesson. Dimitri pipes up and is like, tell me about these designs. They are apparently traditional Russian patterns that have eventually, like, over enough generations, fused with, like, Americana quilts and patchwork, which is interesting. Cool. Thank you for this history lesson.
Right.
And then finally, when they get into this very small room, alone for the first time, Rose is like, all right, give me this fucking history lesson. What are all these words that you're explaining? What's
this? Going on?
Why do you keep saying things and the words are capitalized?
Yeah, I'm confused. I hear it, and I hear the capital letters.
And I don't know
I'm scared.
what it is.
And Rose is like, well, tainted kind of sounds like Strigoi, right?
Right.
And Sydney's like, no, you fool. Even though I haven't told you anything yet, you should know this. Strigoi are the lost, capital. And you are tainted because you went and joined the modern world instead of, you know, the backwards ways of the keepers for, you know, the backwards ways of the new modern way of living.
All right.
Which, sure. And Sydney's like, you know, if it makes you feel better, you know I hate you, but I do think you live better than they do, even though I think fundamentally you're evil. It feels like a better way of doing it than how they're doing it. There's a lot of things that are giving me the ick here.
It seems like the only reason that Sydney would tolerate being this disgusted for this long is because the fact that no one knows about them.
Right.
And they keep other people out. So she was like, well, this is a safe place for us to go.
Right. And it's not like a lot of peers, and especially Rose, right, of like going into other situations. They're not like exiled off into the woods. There's much more of a relationship to the outside world to some extent, where for the keepers it's like, y'all are there and you're not leaving, and that's your life. Great. Easy to figure out, easy to track.
The main concern, though, is that Sydney's like, listen, it's been months since someone's come by with food and supplies for them. They're probably due, which means that someone might show up, and if that happens, then we're screwed.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is not great. But they're not going to turn us in. And they seem really excited, Rose, that you might have killed the queen. So good job on that.
Right, so we already got some points in our favor. Right. Very cool.
Yeah. The thing about people not knowing, so some of those royal leaders apparently only know about these keepers in a vague way. So, like, no details, no locations. And apparently they're seemingly nomadic. Like, they can move on a moment's notice.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting.
Good to know.
Right. This conversation doesn't last very long, though, because Miss Angeline comes in, kicks the door down.
Yeah. It's like, what the fuck? Which, like, first of all, Angeline, like, busts into the room, like, because Rose and Dimitri are like, all right, let's get some sleep. We'll do some shifts. Protect our girl, Sydney. It'll be great. And then Angeline busts down the door. And for some reason, Ferrero is like, hey, remember Jill? She reminds me of Jill. It's like, why we gotta bring Jill into this? What's going on?
Okay, so...
she's just a young...
I hadn't thought about Jill for forever. And this made me think about the end game of this. Both of who killed Tatiana, for real.
Right, true.
Which is discussed a bit more in the next chapter. And who Lissa's sibling is, which is also talked about a little bit in the next chapter. Here are my current guesses for both of these. For who killed Tatiana, I'm putting my money down on, why the fuck did I just blank out on her name? On Christian's aunt.
Oh, holy shit. I also have now forgotten. Tasha?
Yeah.
Question mark? No. Yeah.
Because I'm trying to think about, like, who are the only, like, it's got to be someone that we know, right? Because if it wasn't, then why would it matter?
Right, yes, exactly.
And
we have a list of suspects.
Right.
It's like, oh, it was Billy from which we just met.
It was, weirdly, it was Mason. Whoa. The ghost. He killed someone. And I was trying to think about, like, who the fuck has a motive to do it, right? And I've been trying to think about it. There was a moment in next chapter, which I'll talk about, of, like, kind of changed my mind, but that's who I'm leaning towards right now. And then for Lissa's sibling, I think it's Jill.
Yeah.
Because why the fuck did Jill exist, first of all?
So true.
Like, what was her deal?
Yeah.
Why did she exist, right? Why did Christian train her in magic? And then why did she have that mom? Why did she have she has a mom for a reason. But, like, she wasn't fucking, like, immaculate conception. But, like, do you remember that scene with Rose where she was like, hi, I'm going to meet your mom. Damn, I wish I was like you. Like, what was that for? Why did we learn that her mom was,
I'm
like,
your
a
biggest
ballet
fan.
dancer?
Right. Yeah, I mean, that does track.
So anyways, that's who I'm putting my money down on right now. Because, like, I don't know who the fuck else it would be. It's not Mia.
Right. Right.
It's not Ambrose, even though that's who I thought it was for a while, like when we first met Ambrose, but it's not Ambrose.
Yeah.
So that's who I think. Anyway. It's interesting that you're not saying anything, but whatever.
I'm taking notes. I'm observing. I'm listening.
I thought it was interesting in this scene with Angeline that Angeline calls Rose Prim, and I was like, oh, Prim, you say?
Right, huh?
She was like, you're too soft. You're too prim. Which is like, rude.
Everyone thinks you killed the queen, and I don't believe that. It's like, whoa, okay. First of all,
rude. And also, like, in what way does Rose ever give off soft? Ever.
Right.
And then this scene now makes a lot more sense about Angeline being like, I don't give a fuck what you do to Paulette's bed. No, she's not my sister.
Right.
And apparently from Sydney is probably Raymond's, like, mistress.
Yeah. Oof. And so now Rose is like, I've lost the plot, right? Because, like, first it's Maroy who's married to a human, and then having an affair with a Maroy. So it's like everything's, like, jumbled and screwed. What's going on?
She's hungry. She's full of bread. Nothing makes sense anymore. And she's tired.
Yeah, I'm scared. I don't know what's going on.
And thankfully, Dimitri's like, listen, I'm going to take first watch. You get some sleep. We'll deal with this later.
Right.
As always, Rose never gets enough sleep. We are always pro Rose needing more sleep.
God, this poor gal.
And then she
wants
never
to sleep.
gets, like, dreams of her own. Someone is always coming in and being like, I'm going to get in on some of Rose's dreams right now.
I feel like if we counted how many dreams, or, like, how many, at least, nights of sleep that she got throughout the entirety of this series, it'd be, like, one hand, max.
Yeah.
Because every other time she's asleep, it's like, here's a dream. Here's
she's
Adrian
knocked
coming
out.
on in.
She's concussed.
She's concussed.
She's
right,
been put
like,
under. Yeah, all of the time, like, Rose's sleep is disturbed. She needs to. I feel like if she went into one of those, like, sleep tests, people would be like, you're not resting, like, at all.
Right. We have no baseline here. We can't calibrate this.
Yeah. So she's like, damn, what's up, Adrian? I'm so excited to see you. It's not fucking Adrian. It's Victor and his brother, Ricky Bobby.
Yeah.
Back again. It's been a whole ass book.
We back. The boys are back.
It's been a long time since Vegas. A lot of shit has happened.
Yeah. And look at them just sauntering in to the dream space like they own the place. Yeah. And so Rose is like, motherfucker, I gotta fight these dudes. Also, why are they here? I hate it here. Immediately, she pulls a, if I fight in the dream, I fight in real life.
Literally.
And just like goes to sucker punch Victor and tries to like hurt them. But it was not working in her favor. Because they had some reason, some like telekinesis dream state power where they like invented a wall, that like invisible wall that just like blocked her, which very fun.
Yeah, it's really fucked up. Like, we knew Ricky Bobby had spirit, like he was a spirit user, but we didn't know that he had telekinesis and that he could just like throw up walls all of a sudden. Nasty powers.
Pretty gross.
And all of his, Rose is like, God damn it. Like, you have telekinesis. And all of his response is like, I control the dream. Ugh. Sir.
So, you can't just walk in like that. And that be your thing. I need information, buddy. And Victor's like, are you done with your tantrum?
Fuck this dude.
It's like, for real, get out. And Rose is like, I don't want to talk to you. It's been 800 years. Like, what the fuck? I thought our beef was over. Y'all got to go away. Like, we're good. With no hard feelings.
Yeah, why aren't you in the, like, fucking Caymans right now? Just
yeah, you should be on the run. Chilling on an island. Get out of here.
Right.
Like, why are you so obsessed with me?
Literally. God. He's so annoying.
And, yes, they're so annoying. And Victor's like, you know, heard about poor Tatiana. Rip. What's up with that?
I want to know about his gossip network. Because he's like, I knew, like, he's always the one. As soon as it happened.
Yeah, he's always dialed in to the drama, which I'm very impressed by. And Rose is like, oh, so you know about that? Do you know that? Do you think I did it? Like, what's your tea on that? And he's like, obviously not. Like, you could do it, but like, you wouldn't do it like that. Like,
yeah, the fact that he drags her too, he's like, you'd never do anything that required that much foresight. And if what I've heard about it is true, you'd never leave that much evidence behind. And she's like, okay, fuck you, but also thanks, like, I guess.
Okay, compliment sandwich. God, man. Like, jeez.
I need to know about his spies.
It's like,
immediately.
Yeah. Right. Like, what's going on here?
It is confusing to me that even though he is free right now, I mean, he's still on the run, obviously, but like, he doesn't need to be involved in this, but he is still interested in these politics for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. It makes no sense to me, and it doesn't make sense to Rose either.
Right. Naturally, Rose is like, why the fuck do you care? Like, what? What's your... You should be out drinking a pina colada. Like, what the fuck? It's like your obsession with this. And it's like, listen.
It always comes back to her.
Obviously, like, your commentary is great and all, but we can help you. And she's like, why the fuck would I want help from you? And for what? And they're like, listen, buddy, like, you're fucking around here with Dimitri. Your homies at court are trying to clear your name. Nothing's really going great on either side. And maybe we can do something here. I kind of got a very litigious network over here. Maybe there's something we can get for each other, right?
This is what makes me confusion. So Victor is like, so obviously we need to figure out who did this because it wasn't you. And people...
And also I love gossip.
Right, I do love gossip. And people obviously do this for power. And they get their agendas through. Uh-huh. And so it seems like it would make sense that the person who did this opposed that age law, which is why I thought, like, oh, it would be Tasha, right?
Right.
And then Rose is like, well, or it was someone who wanted to push that through, like, or wanted something worse, right?
Right. And this, the way that she so quickly fumbles the bag here.
And just tells him everything.
Just, the girl needs to zip it, okay? Even in a dream, I know you're probably being compelled in some fashion, perhaps. But fucking don't leak all of the info that you have to everyone you come into contact with while you're on the run, Rose.
Like,
so she's like,
dude, let him do something for you.
Right, like, at least see what's on the table here.
Right.
See what the offer is before you just leak information.
Right.
And so Rose is like, well, I did get a letter from Tatiana. I don't know if that's awkward or anything.
I don't know if she sent you a letter, too.
Yeah, and I don't know if, like, we're all pen pals with Tatiana at the same time. If we're in the loop. Maybe got return to sender, who knows.
Right.
And again, she keeps being like, should I say it? Should I tell them? Should I be bad? And everyone reading it is screaming, no, bitch.
Literally.
Don't. We have learned not to trust
she didn't
these people.
just tell him about the note. Then she's like...
Right.
So, Lissa... Like, it wasn't just enough to just be like, well, Tatiana left me a note. So, how about that? But then tells him the contents of the note and about Lissa's sibling.
Right, and it's like, well, people were upset about the age thing for sure, but also, what if there was another Dragomir? Anyway, it's like,
and you thought that Victor and his brother were going to help you, not what, not turn you over, not like use you for information and toss you aside. What?
Mm-hmm. And Rose immediately is like, I am a fool. Why did I just give these very powerful men this information? God. But interestingly,
Victor
comes up with kind of...
essentially.
Yes, Victor pulls a very compelling ape here. Which is like, listen, I know you're full of shit and, like, don't have any leads. And you just have this, like, hypothetical idea of something. But what if we talk about the rules and the law of the land here and the politics at stake here? Because ideally, the winner of this situation just, like, gets their royal person through, whoever their next king or queen is, monarch, whatever, and somehow profits from sort of situation.
Right.
And he's like, what if I made it everyone's problem? What if we made it everyone's problem? And delayed the shit out of this.
Yeah.
So A, you also get more time to figure out that, who was framing you. And B, cause a little chaos in the politics of everything, which is always fun. And by doing that, and how to do that, he suggests that Lissa run for queen and get nominated.
And I love this because Rose is like, you are aware that she cannot become queen as the only person in her family. And Victor's like, right. I'm not stupid.
Right.
That she can't be elected as queen as the only person in her family.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that she can't run.
Right.
So let her go
and make it everyone's problem.
Let her go through the whole thing.
Because there's, like, a loophole within the law books, or whatever, the old dusty books, where it's like, she can't vote because she doesn't have someone else in her family. She can't become the queen because she doesn't have anyone in her family. But she can run. There's nothing stopping her from running. They just need to be a royal person.
Right.
And she is. She is part of a royal family. She's the only one at this moment. But she is one of them, and there's no, like, of the same language that's like, you also have to have this voting body or whatever. So, she could just have a fun little party.
Yeah, so get her all the way up to the finish line. So what if she can't cross it yet? But theoretically, that gives you enough time to find out what you need so that she can. And
Right.
worst comes to worst, you've just delayed the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, everything's great. I'm a genius. You're welcome, Rose.
Right. He puts his hand out and he's like, money, please. I did this well.
Right.
Where's my consultant's fee?
And and Rose is like, damn, that's... Listen, I hate that you are saying something that may make sense. We are working on our own leads over here. But it is an interesting, like, way to go about this. And I will admit that. And Victor's like, all right, bet. So let us know when you have any interesting info for us, and then we'll meet up with you. Bye. And Rose is like, how the fuck? I can't even trust you, right? Like, how am I even supposed to acknowledge anything you say? And Victor's like, obviously not. You can't trust me at all. We just have to work on the idea that, you know, the enemy of your enemy is your friend. And so we're friends now. We're gonna work on this together.
Fuck this dude.
Yeah.
The only thing that I hate worse than all of this is, like, as soon as she gets pulled out of this and, like, wakes up.
Yeah.
And remembers, like, oh shit, I'm in this, like, weird room that I don't know. In this weird cabin in a cult. How the fuck do I always end up in these weird situations? Is, she's like, takes a deep breath. Finally relaxes to get back into, like, true sleep. And gets pulled into another fucking spirit dream.
Like, yeah, it's like, oh, it's Adrian's time now. I'm sad boyfriend. I want you to pick me up, please. I want you out. It's like, can this girl get an ounce of sleep?
None
I'm begging
sleep.
on my hands and knees. Yeah, negative sleep at this point. Just actively taking away from her sleep.
I just want this woman to rest. Otherwise, she's going to start seeing ghosts again. And she's going to make that everyone's problem.
Yeah, I'm worried. And, like, we know that Liz is already exuding her own dark magic. We need Rose to sleep. We can't have both of y'all being unstable again. It's not good.
I'm so stressed. I'm
Freaking out. Yeah. My girls.
And also, who's going to get them real food? Because, like, as interested as I am in a life subsisting only on bread and a bowl of butter, that is, unfortunately, you will get scurvy at some point. Yeah. So, I'm nervous. Next week, we have chapters 11 and 12. And I'm so nervous.
Yeah.
We have some great patrons to thank this week. Would you like to start us off?
Hell yeah. Thank you to Kylie Minty.
Ooh. Thank you to Alex Dornan.
Pew pew. Thank you to Mulch. Gray.
Mulch. Thank you to Jasmine Anastasia.
Ow, ow. Thank you to Megan Pattinson.
Ooh. Thank you to Cassandra O'Shea.
O'Shea. Thank you to Katia Karp.
Ooh. Thank you to Hope Castile.
Ow. Thank you to Rachel Ashford.
Ooh. Thank you to Maddie Facinelli.
Pew, pew, pew. Thank you to Genevieve Morgan.
Ooh. Thank you to Danielle Burke.
Ow, ow. Thank you to my mom.
Oh.
Your mom. All of our moms. Oh. Kelly Beck.
Ooh, Mom. Thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Oh, ow. Thank you to Laura 40.
Ooh, thank you to Dan Zeklos.
Ow. Thank you to Emily Ozera.
Ooh, thank you to Jaylene Ivishkov.
Pew, pew, pew. And last but certainly not least, thank you to Ashlyn Vogel.
Ooh. I have a fan fiction for you this week. It doesn't have snails. I'm sorry.
Damn.
I'm sorry.
Rip Turbo.
This is by the author Musings of Venus. It is titled Inked Blossoms. And It was published 2 days ago. It's hot off the presses.
Wow. Damn.
The summary is, Bella is a foul-mouthed, accident-prone florist. Jacob is a quiet tattoo artist who opened up his shop across the street. This is from chapter 1. All that work was fueled by nothing but perseverance and a Debussy-inspired playlist. Read 3 cups of coffee and a whole lot of spiteful rage. Bella stands among the carnage of pink and white petals, stretching her arms up until her back cracks so loudly she swears her spine just snapped in half. Holy shit. She cringes when Alice whirls around and pins her with stern eyes. Shiitake. That's $1 for the swear jar, Bella. I said shiitake. Swear jar? Bella groans. She digs through her overalls pockets for some loose change as she trudges towards the front desk where the infamous swear jar sits. The swear jar got started to help Bella with her New Year's resolution to stop cursing, or at least curse a little less. Alice, feeling super hopeful about it, even bedazzled the stupid thing and wrapped it with a pink bow. It clearly wasn't really doing the job. And like clockwork, Bella trips over her own shoelaces. Alice manages to catch Bella before she can crack her head against the counter, which, honestly, wouldn't be the first time that happened. End scene.
God, clumsy Bella.
Back at
Love
it again.
her. That's my girl.
Who apparently is skilled enough to use, like, floral shears, which is terrifying.
Right, but okay.
Or maybe she just works the front desk. That would make more sense to me. But I didn't get far enough to know where Jacob sits in that world, so in my head it's just Alice and Bella in that story, and that's where
who needs
I
him?
live.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, I think that's a good intersection.
well, friends, please tell your friends about our show, about new books, about
Yes.
old shows, about
Yes.
unions, about lots of things.
So
that
many
are-
things
about
covered.
that are good in this world. And until next week, as we say here in the Pacific Northwest,
Get bit.
ooh.
Ooh. Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. You can follow us on Twitter at Into the Twilight or on TikTok at Into the Twilight Show. You can find me at Cody Corral on Twitter and Allie at Alexandria Does. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Into the Twilight. We have merch, so much stuff. All those links are in the episode description. And make sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. It really helps the show. Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media, audio for everyone.